Good evening, and welcome to Weather Down in Muletown. As always, this is your captain speaking. So, lots to talk about, so we'll hop right on into it. As always, currently 55 degrees live from Sunnyside. Wind pretty calm today, peaked around 7 miles an hour or so. Pressure 29.85, not a whole lot else doing there. So, good news as far as that goes. Pretty dry across all of the mid-state area, just depending on where you're listening to us from, and definitely so around the Muletown area. So pretty much the same story going to be the case until after this weekend. So if you do got some weekend plans, seems like you should be good to go there. So tonight, about 44 degrees for that high, or that low, excuse me. I don't know why that is so small. Sorry about that, folks. So still working on that new software, so bear with me there for sure. But tomorrow's pretty mild weather, still not quite as warm as we have been. High of around 57 in Muletown, 54 Nashville, 49 up there in Clarksville, 56 in Tullahoma. Pretty much same story goes around most of the mid-state area for tomorrow. Only other big thing as far as just the admin stuff goes, the Skywarn classes. So saw the post from NWS Huntsville the other day, I think, and posted it today. So definitely good info there. Check those classes out. If you've already been to the basic, you can check out the advanced as well. I know someone else asked the other day on NWS Nash's Facebook page, and they said there was an advanced one coming, but I don't think it's on the schedule yet, or it was not yet. I don't think the last time I had looked there, but I may be lying right now because it's been a couple of days. So definitely check me on that. And I think you can find like a YouTube video of most of those courses as well, the basic and the advanced, to check that out. So definitely, if you've never been, want to go, they have a physical one every now and then. You have to kind of look out for those. They got away from them during COVID and budget stuff and all that other fun stuff from time to time. But they do still do some physical classes here and there, I believe, still. I have to get with some of our friends there on NWS to make sure on that, though. But they do these virtual ones, and they are pretty neat, easy to follow along with. They explain everything really well. The folks up at NWS Nashville are great. So as we said, pretty dry, pretty uneventful over the next 48 or so. And kind of let this go through at regular speed there. So, but if you need to pause it and go back and look for some particular time or whatever, it's all should be pretty much clear. So I'll let that run through there one more time just for good measure. But from the look of things, it should be pretty uneventful weather-wise going through the weekend. That gets us to right there around noon Saturday. It looks like pretty much a similar story on Saturday evening, waiting on the that run of the model to finish running as we speak there. So update you with that when it does, as usual, and if there's anything otherwise weather-wise going on throughout the weekend, we'll keep you updated. So other than that, this will be pretty much when the weather, winst is a word, right? Okay, well, it is now. This will be winst the weather nerdery commences. So again, y'all, that ain't your stuff. Check out. See y'all later on the next time. And again, make sure you got those multiple ways to get those watches, warnings, advisories, and you keep out an eye for the updates and everything from us and the National Weather Service and Nashville Storm Prediction Center, so on and so forth, and yada, etc. All right, so get comfortable a little bit, and not on running the cameras at the moment. Sports fans, sorry about that. I'm working on still rearranging the studio, so it's a whole big other thing as well there. So big improvements coming, just still a lot in progress here in the studio. So if you're just joining us, got done talking with all the usuals and current conditions, all that other fun stuff. If you need to rewind that, check that out later. I'm gonna try to keep this semi-short because I'm not trying to just completely bombard y'all over the next couple days, but there is a lot to talk about, and anything that we are talking about this far out, like we've been saying, is kind of rare. So like we posted earlier today, there's been 7 of these 30% risks. We're not in that part. Again, want to reiterate that we're in the 15. The 30 is to our southwest by a pretty okay margin. So keeping an eye on that. But just in general, this system, what it's producing, there have been 7 of these beforehand that had that 30% risk involved. But this is the earliest one. So again, we've been kind of eyeing the season because of La Nina conditions and some other things going on with global weather patterns that have to do with like the big picture of all the weather and things like that, coinciding with lots of wind shear and like availability of like that warm rich Gulf moisture, and all running together at once with a strong system coming through with that upper level or lower level jet that we've been talking about coming through and being so strong and converging with this trough. So lots of things going on at once as far as the party goes. So we'll pop on over into, and I've barely had time to look at some of these as well too. So some of these we'll just do our usual looking at together and explaining, answering questions, etc. As I go through and just think out loud with y'all. And that way, that's again just for our newbies. Welcome. And this is just kind of the method to my madness and how we show our work, I guess you could say, with what we do here at the Weather Down in Muletown. So, again, bear with me, guys. I'm getting caught up. Why are these not loading? It's so weird. So, for whatever reason, like there's a couple of the categorical outlooks that are like malfunctioning. For whatever reason on my pivotal weather site here that we use. So I'm gonna put that one up real quick, and it's like the continental United States view. So apologies there. It's the smallest one that I could get because of whatever reason the regional view that we use that's zoomed in to kind of like the southeast there where you can see the counties in Tennessee a little bit better, is showing up without the map on it. So it's weird. Everything else is there, it's just without the map lines. So kind of odd, but we'll just have to I hope Pivotal Weather gets that sorted out there a little bit. So again, there is the outlook for day 6. So this showed up on the radar yesterday on the day 7 outlook. Generally anything that we're looking at outside of like the basic, like 3-day outlook that they do, like the expanded forecast for, and lists the specific threats as far as the tornado hail wind on day 1, and then the probabilistics on 2 and 3 or whatever that are a little bit more expanded but not quite as detailed as day 1. This is just a general. So again, anytime that we see that 15 or 30 pop up is this far out, it doesn't sound like much, but as far as that goes, that's pretty significant with it being this far out. Again, we're not in the highest risk down there towards what we call like Arklatex, where Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas all meet, and into central Mississippi and central Alabama, because obviously they always seem to get it. But we are in that edge of that overall 15% risk. And again, it's higher than it sounds. That's kind of deceivingly simple, and it's because it's so far out is why that is low. A lot of these scenarios, when they come to pass, if they all hold together, and the 5, 4, 3, 2, and the 1s, a lot of these I have to look because I've got a tweet over on our Twitter account at Bad Karma Chasing. The majority of them. I think there were several more of these, and I think it was the other like 7 events that we were talking about or that were referenced, and most of them either ended up enhanced or moderate, I think, as far as the risk goes. I'll have to look at that. So again, might be lying there. Don't quote me on that. I still hadn't get the Twitter account open up real quick. It's not logged in. Of course not. But we'll go have a look at that real quick. I'll show you the wording on this, kind of break some of that down. Oh, come on. One sec. New software, y'all bear with me. Come on. Here we go. No. There we are. So perfect. All right. So let's have a look at this. So again, this is the overall outlook here that we're looking at. Columbia, Murray County, Middle Tennessee is right there. If you can see my little pointer. So day 4 through 8 outlook. I'm trying to skip kind of like the really, really heavily weather nerdery part of this and get to kind of just the meat and potatoes. It's talking about this system approaching, strength of Monday afternoon, larger scale trough approaches southern plains. Dry line will be capped on Monday. So yeah, this is back further. 12Z Tuesday, so that would be 0600 a.m. our time, Central Time. Moisture recovery across the Western Gulf should be complete with 70-degree dew points forecast near the Gulf Coast by both models. Confidence upper level pattern is increasing with the Euro and EC ensembles have been consistent with an amplified mid-level pattern across central and southern plains for 7 consecutive runs. Yep, been looking at those. The GFS, EFS trended more towards an amplified solution. Confidence overall pattern increases. Here, as confidence in the overall pattern increases, confidence or a significant weather threat is also increased, and the 30% severe probabilities have been added from East Texas, Central Mississippi. That's that heavier area or whatever. While specifics remain uncertain, the event draws closer, potential multiple rounds of severe convection, including supercells, clusters, and likely an eventual squall line. That's probably going to be the biggest threat, is the line. Any storms that break out ahead of the front would be dangerous or could be a concern or whatever. It's just going to depend on the instability. It's not looking like it's just hugely high, but there's going to be a lot of shear, it looks like. So we'll talk about that as well. So squall line bring threat of all severe weather hazards, including strong tornadoes. Again, it's not all the time that you see them mention strong tornadoes in a day 6 outlook. Again, that's mostly to our southwest. We're just kind of connected in that same system. It can all change. We can slide out of it. It can slide further up here. It can move east, west, slant ways, sideways, Willy Wonka ways, up ways, down ways, whichever. And we'll just have to roll with the punches because that's the business we're in. Nobody knows, not me, not the National Weather Service, not the TV guys, not the internet guys, none of them. We all just have to roll with the punches, look at the models, compare them all, and just see what it lays out as. So we'll look at that aforementioned GFS model real quick. Right, I'm trying to make this a little bit bigger for y'all. Nope, not gonna be able to see it. So the model starts Saturday, Sunday. So here we go into Monday. So this is coming up on let's see, yeah, Tuesday 06 Zulu, so that's midnight. Tuesday, maybe some scattered showers beforehand, possibility on late Monday night into Tuesday. Looks like, yeah, maybe a little bit there. So Tuesday, let's actually zoom this down. We'll worry about the big picture in just a second. Let's go regional, so it'll let me run all the different products. All right, so again, Marin County right here, kind of center screen almost, there in the middle of Tennessee. So let's roll it again. Maybe a little light rain overnight, so that should help out with the moisture. And don't see any like individual cells or discrete cells picking up or anything like that. This is about 6 a.m. Tuesday, and this is moving in 3-hour jumps, so that's why it kind of seems like it's real jumpy or whatever. All right, and then midnight about or so on Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, whichever you want to call it, right there, midnight, overnight hours between the two. It looks like is when the main line's going to come through between there and say one. We'll split the difference. If we think midnight, we'll say between 9 and 3 to be on the safe side for now, and then we should be able to tailor that as it gets a little bit closer. So right now, most of the models are indicating right around midnight. But again, there can always be some divergence there, and all the models are going to change run to run. So let's see. I think we're looking at 130 something there. 132. So yeah, let's look at 132. Composite reflectivity, not bad. Wind gust, not bad. Humidity 90%. Dew point 59. So yeah, that's yeah, so that was the thing earlier. Cape values weren't looking just incredibly impressive at all. We're kind of just barely touching the scale here at the bottom, and like the 100s and 500s in the region. There's some 650s down here. Looks like some mid 5s, which is just kind of scratching, getting out of the bottom of the scale down in Mississippi at the moment. But it's looking like, yeah, this is the most unstable Cape. So looks like there's a little bit throughout the day Tuesday. There's not as much there near the end. So surface-based Cape, it's basically how I explain like the Cape and stuff like this, especially the surface-based. When you look at the pavement after one of those Tennessee summertime or springtime showers, the sun comes immediately back out and the pavement starts steaming, that's your surface-based Cape. That's heat and energy leaving the ground from the sun and the water or whatever and going back into the sky to be storm fuel. That's the most bestest way and simplest way that I explain it to the kiddos. So this is lapse rate, so this is kind of an indice of storms being able to kind of like rise with the temperature changes into the air with storms. So it looks like not bad at times there, but not just overly impressive. So the issue here is going to be, hold on, let me look at the lift index. This is the same thing. So this is how much heat from the ground can kind of tilt those updrafts, and we want to see that nice and low, and we don't really see much coming through around our storm time there, so that's good. So again, the issue is going to be the wind, I think, with this and most events we get. So this is the bulk winch here, surface to 500 millibars in knots or nautical miles per hour. So let's look at this and see 76 knots, 78 knots. Looks like it's on the back end. So not bad, but which one? I think. Yeah, so this is storm relative helicity. So this is kind of like that tendency to twist that we talked about. And it's pretty high. So that's where we're running into the issue is like the what we call the SRH, storm relative helicity. 600, 700, right around. Says throughout the day, Tuesday, yeah, and then so at or about storm time, 500, 600 or whatever or so, between that and 700. So it's pretty high there, sports fans, and that's again just that tendency for the storms to be able to interact with those changing around and shifting wind fields and be able to rotate. So we'll make sure I'm not losing anything on the comments. Yeah, so Tyler's asking about the mountains, Cleveland area, like towards East Tennessee, Georgia. Things will do similarly there, but it should have a little bit, hopefully, of the punch taken out of it by the time it gets there. But just depending on how far over for like me, East Tennessee, Western North Carolina folks are, it's expected to potentially, possibly fire back up, and that area of the eastern seaboard there is covered under a different outlook under the 15% on the day 7 outlook now. So definitely check that out for those folks over there if you have the fam over there. Energy helicity index, similar metric, pretty low, good thing. Supercell composites, too far out. Just want to look at it. Yep, not much. So good stuff there. All right, that was GFS. We'll look at the Euro. All right, precip type. This is always kind of the easiest one for everybody to understand. So rolling through the weekend. Sunday, there's Monday. Looks all pretty dry. Again, maybe some prefrontal storms or so coming through. This, I believe, was one of the ones that might show some of the kind of like individual clusters here that we don't want to see. Yeah, so it's looking like there were showing some of these on the year. I know one of the runs or two of the runs were earlier, but I didn't see enough of them back to back and just sit there and stare at them time wise. But yeah, it looks like some of the runs of the Euro are trying to favor some individual cells popping up, like these little individual ones by themselves, or like a train of small cells going through, like in a row, what we call in a train. So that's definitely something that we'll be keeping an eye on, because that would not be a great scenario at all. Because in those storms, when they're individual by themselves like that, they can have more easier access to feed off of those storm materials. All right, sorry about that, folks. Dog left the door open. So, you see that's 6 a.m. So it's also showing potentially maybe the storm's ongoing a little bit later on, later into the period as well. So interesting things on the Euro, but again, it's just one of many tools that we use to kind of look and see. Oh shit, or poops, I went too far. Sorry about that. Monday, Tuesday. Yep, so it's about the same way. But again, just one of the many tools. We look at some of the differences between the models, some of the similarities between the models, and just try to either go with consensus or find a happy medium, split the average, kind of whatever you want to call it there. And that's generally the method to the madness. Most around the place, I guess, around the meteorological world for the most part. And that's generally just what we do here as well. We just try to go through and share the things and break them down. So yeah, NAM not quite in view yet. It's getting Monday going. So, and that's the issue that we're working with now, because most of the longer range models are the only thing that can see this yet, because it's right in between the kind of like long to mid-range models right now, and then it's starting to come into some of like the mid-long range, but some of them aren't great. Let's see. We can look at some of the indices with these, but it doesn't show like the reflectivity or the radar mode. So look at the instability. So this is Cape. A little bit more, but not much. So yeah, not much at all there. Surface based. Yep, so not too bad. Let's see. Look at the shear from GEFS. Say Sunday, Monday. Let's look at Tuesday. 6 a.m. 53 knots. So this is surface to that 500 millibar. So kind of like that lower level ish. So not too bad, but yeah, then peaks definitely there around that storm time, about 75 knots. And again, that's that wind shear aloft, so where it's moving kind of with the storms. So if the storms can get into that wind field and get enough like lift from the ground to get enough updraft to them to get that updraft tilted and further if with those lapse rates and able to like rise into the atmosphere, that's when those winds aloft become an issue, because it can help that storm if it taps into those, and that's where that severe risk comes in to play. So anyways, again, just a short update. If you need to go back, rewind stuff, watch it to get the usuals coming up for the next couple days. Shouldn't be much going on. Again, if you're just joining us, weather should be pretty good over the weekend. So if you got the plans, you look pretty solid, pretty dry there until we get into next week. But that's when we're going to get into the bumpy weather, so definitely keep an eye out for those updates. As soon as they are out, we'll get them to you. Again, try not to explode your feed as far as everything goes with that either. There's just been a lot to talk about. I'm going to try to keep the SPC updates to the once a day until it starts getting into the 3 days within the 3-day outlook. So probably Sunday we'll try to do another live and get into what we know at that point. Should be within view of those short to mid-range higher definition models that should give us some pretty good guidance about what we can expect, especially as far as what we should see and when we should see it, because again, the timing is a little up in the air, just depending on which model you ask. But the general consensus is, again, we should start seeing either some of that line of storms or a squall line or broken line of storms possibly ongoing, but if not, by around that 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, I would say probably not quite 2, but just depending on where you live in, enlisted from, maybe around there. NWS is pretty good about putting out a timing graphic usually before these things approach. So as soon as they do, we'll get that on over to you as well. So keep an eye for the updates. Make sure you let your friends, fam know, especially if you got any folks living down in those higher threat areas. That we were talking about earlier on in the video. Definitely go and rewind that again if you didn't see it. Down there near the Arklatex area, or in central Mississippi, pretty much most all of Mississippi, other than the very like bottom southeast, like kind of Gulf Coast area down that way. So definitely make sure they're being weather aware going into next week. Check those ways to get your watches, warnings, advisories. NOAA Weather Radio. Get like a handheld one as well or something. They make all kind of little cool clock radio, camp stove, shower light, NOAA radio, like accessory things that you can crank up and don't take batteries or have rechargeable batteries, or all kind of crazy gizmos and stuff. So definitely grab 1 or 2 of those. Great investment there. Obviously, there's all sorts of apps and stuff out there. Broadcast media, local news, Weather Channel. Let's see, Fox Weather. What's the other one called? I think the Weather Underground, they've got a channel on all the free ones and stuff too, usually. All the free TV apps like Pluto or Tubi or whatever, all that stuff. So there's bunches and bunches of ways to get those watches, warnings, advisories. So just make sure you're doing it. Go and check your phone. And make sure that you don't have what's called the wireless emergency alerts, or WIA, turned off. It's on by default when you get your phone, but you can accidentally turn it off or not mean to, or get tired of a whatever alert or something like that. But you should be able to go in there and look and see in your phone settings, because it's the law. They got to be able to receive one after like 2008 or 7 or something like that, I think. So anyways, make sure you got plenty of ways to get those advisories and products from the National Weather Service and the Storm Protection Center. We'll obviously be covering it, so keep an eye out for us as well. Other than that, y'all be safe. We'll see you on the next time.